Hey Flosstube friends, it's Lana here, Silly Notion Stitcher. This is take number 3, but I'm here today with my cross-stitch channel, and I also sew and quilt and have made some bags, so some project bags too. So today though we're going to be primarily talking about what I've been up to in my cross-stitch life the last month or so. Today is Sunday, March 3rd, 2024. I'm in southeastern Pennsylvania, and we are having a wonderful, bright, sunny day, which I needed desperately. I was starting to get into that ho-hum, gray, wintry state and just feeling like, oh, everything is the same. And it's like, I wanted to go out and do things, and yet I was perfectly content not going out and doing things. Did get out a little bit this past week, but it was great to get out this morning for a fun brunch and a little walk. So now I'm ready to show you some great stuff that's been going on. And there's quite a bit of haul. Thrift store haul, but then also Salty Yarns haul from Salty Yarns Needleworks in just outside Ocean City, Maryland. So I will start off by talking about my springy type quilt I have hanging here. I made this a bunch of years ago, and it is, I think it's called like Pins and Paws or something. It is from Missouri Star Quilt Company. I got into sewing by watching their videos started coming up on YouTube when I had to be in a cast. It's 10 years ago this year. So yeah, so this was a fun quilt, and it's got a cute border full of buttons and some nice springy cherries on the back. I'm very fortunate to live in an area close to Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, where there are many fabric shops, and several of them offer some decent sales or low priced, like sort of, you know, old runs of fabric. So I know like the cherries and those buttons I was able to get for probably under $4 a yard type of thing. So that makes it more fun for me anyway. And so let's look at what I've been doing. I do have my book of days. I'm not always the greatest with keeping up with it. In fact, March needs to be filled in a little bit, but I will show February. And the last time I did a Flosstube, I think it was before the Super Bowl. So this is February. And you'll see some affirmation type stickers in there. I was really having some struggles in my work life, continue to sort of do that, and so I am on a path to change things up there. It's my job found me. I was let go through a reorganization right before we all got locked up for COVID. And so I was not really looking for a job for over a year, and then things were really starting to open up and stuff, and this job sort of found me, and I feel very fortunate about all of that because I felt the whole job search was going to be very daunting. I was in my last job for like 16 years, and it's just been interesting. And I mean, I've learned a lot, but I think I'm ready to do something different. I often think of Laura Duet with Brenda and the Serial Starter, and how she talks about her work woes, and I'm like, oh Laura, we're singing the same tune. But anyway, stitching keeps us going. This was my January stitching, and so what I talked about in my last Flosstube was that I have the double nickel birthday happening actually next month. Actually, it's a month from today. So my goal for my double nickel birthday this year is that I want to in some way stitch on 55 different projects. So that can include starts. I'm really supposed to be focusing on whips. Now just before I hit the button to turn this on, I did a quick count of where I'm at. Do you think I can remember what that is? So I think I'm already up to 12. Many of those being whips, many of them being starts. I've had several starts this year. I had a Mill Hill start very much like around New Year's. It might have been on New Year's Day that I started that, and it's the cute cobbler shop from the Christmas Village. And I have started 2 of the Lila Studios Spring Parade little rabbit mobiles where they're in the vegetables. I've started the carrot and I've started the spotted egg, and I will definitely be showing those. And just the other night I started, it's Brenda Gervais Spring Fling. So it's with the big white bunny with some viney flowers that kind of look like morning glories. So I've had several starts. Oh, I started another one that was from this fabulous book. Oh my gosh. So I started, oh wow, there's that one with the couple. I started the wagon, it's this one. I started that one the other night. So there's so many great ones in that book. So I think I'm on track to get to my goal of stitching on 55 pieces this year. And what counts is 2 lengths of thread. So I go by, I remember Stephanie of Just Keep Stitching talking about her thread lengths, and 2 thread lengths counting as a start, I think is what her mantra was. So I'm kind of going with that, and that seems to be working. And I've definitely been, I think, doing more than that. So let me get right started right away with the Jellybean Jubilee book again. And then I started this fun one. I saw it in the window done on a large count fabric, I mean a large number linen down at Salty Yarns in the window, and that's what I decided to use. So, oh gee, what is the color of this? This is Guacamole, and I think it is a week's linen, 20 count, I believe. So I really loved that green color. Now I knew that I was going to have green in with those eggs, we'll call them. So it's a little awkward having, you know, green on green, but I think it'll be cute once it's finished. I just love getting these large count linens and doing those larger stitches. It's the way that I can stitch on linen. I'm not quite up to being a linen stitcher. I am a Lugana stitcher now. I've become more of a Lugana stitcher, but I do have plenty of Aida, so I will still be using my Aida. A lot of over dyed Aida. So let's see, I will also show you my Lila stitches, and this was kind of fun. My friend Jill and I said, we used to work together. We were both in the group that lost her jobs right before COVID, 2 weeks before COVID. So we both had these sets of charts, and I said, well, I'll, you know, sort of propose ones that we might want to start. So I gave us a few options, like maybe 3 or 4 options. So on Super Bowl Sunday, I said, okay, we decided between these two is what we wanted to start. And I said, well, why don't we let the coin toss decide which one we were going to do? So I think this must have been tails, because I think tails is what won and this was heads. So she needed to get her floss and stuff together. So we didn't start this one during the Super Bowl, but it was kind of fun that I'll remember that we let the coin toss at the Super Bowl decide. So I actually started this one on Super Bowl night. They are just so adorable. Now I'm realizing how stitch heavy they are. So the whole Super Bowl, like I'm stitching this and I got like, you know, a little tip done and I was like, really? So let's see how far I've gotten. I have this much of my carrot mobile. A little hard to see the fabric. Oh my gosh, I can't find my words today. So this is called Love Potion by, I always want to say Fiber on a Whim, and it is not Fiber on a Whim. It's Fiber something and company. Forbidden Fiber Company. So it's got speckles of like purple and very faint green. In this lighting, it's sort of looking like it's light blue, the background. Might be a little light blue, but I think it's sort of white. But I really liked the little bit of lilac that shows through on this. Okay, and then the egg mobile, this is how much I have of that. So it was nice last week when I went with Kathleen of Snickerdoodle Stitch Flosstube fame. She was our driver. Now I didn't stitch on this on the way down. I actually worked on the pom-pom trim for the Christmas little sign that I did. But I got this to a place where I could do a lot of the blue fill-in when we did have a tiny bit of time to stitch. We were shopping quite a lot, and then we went out to eat, and we really didn't have a lot of stitchy time in the evening, but I did get some of that put in. I've made a few little mistakes here and there on this one, so I've had to do my standard fudging, as it were. So that's been a lot of fun working on this. So I actually have both sets of charts that came out for this series. So this one's called set 1. This one's called set 2. Could there be a set 3 and more? I certainly hope so. I hope Lila's very busy working on some cute other mobiles. I might have to help her with some ideas of what she could do for more floats in the parade. But I just think they're so adorable. And I picked these up, sorry, at the Sweater Weather retreat in Philadelphia last October, and I'm signed up to go back to that one. I really, after the 3 retreats that I was at last year, the first 2 were of attendees up to like about 300, which was phenomenal to get to StitchCon, and then the other one of that size was Stitch New England. But I really did love the size of the Sweater Weather retreat, because I think she was trying to get up to 100. I think she had like 85, with people inevitably have to cancel and things like that. So I did like that size because I feel like you get to know people a little bit better. Can't really say that I've stayed in touch with too many people from any of the retreats, actually. Occasionally I'll see that we're commenting on the same thing, type of thing, and that's always fun. But you still feel like you've gotten to know the people of your tribe, you know, that we all get each other because of how fanatical we are about our stitching. So this is Spring Fling. Such a cute chart. Like, I wouldn't have thought of me tackling this and doing something like this because I tend to go towards smaller charts. I like to aim for things that I'm probably going to finish a little bit faster and easier. I have a lot of them going, but I really loved seeing this done in the large count, and when I say large count, 20 count linen. The original owner, I mean, I think she was the original owner of Salty Yarns. I think she's probably pretty much retired and turned over the business to her family, to her daughters. But we learned that she has been doing this stitching on the like 18 count and 20 count linen. And the first things that I saw of hers were legacy linen, and they had a lot in stock at one of the classes that I went to, so I did get a lot of that. I have 2 pilgrims. I'm working on that. They will be stand-ups, and then a stand-up like Liberty Lady. So this will not be now in that classification. Oh, I'm holding this the wrong way. I decided to go with Lagana, and this is Pink Sands. Oh, Pink Sandy Beaches. Unfortunately, we don't know what brand it is of overdyed. I guess that's the Zweigart, you know, orange, but it's really a neat color. This lets you see the modeling in it, but the color is more of a deep red raspberry. It's just really not showing too great with my lighting in here. I had really great lighting coming through the window because it is so sunny, but my glasses were very reflective and glary, so I didn't want to put everybody through that. Oh, that right there was a little bit more true. So anyway, that was a start, and I'm happy to get that going. Now, I decided to swap out the sample that they had at Salty Yarns for these burgundy like flowers. They used purples, and I am a purple girl, so I decided I'm gonna go that way. All right, so lots of Easter stitching going on, and I have where did he go? I have another one from the Brenda Gervais Jellybean book, and he's really the inspiration for me going ahead and getting that book. This little guy, I saw him stitch, and he's holding a paintbrush. So this is 28 count Lugana Lagoon. Do I even know? I got that at Brick City cross stitch in Ocala, Florida last year when I was down there in March. There he is. He's so cute. But I saw him on display at Stitches Unlimited in Lancaster area. And that's what inspired me to get this book. All right. So I will just say that for some reason it's come over me to check out again the many Sue Hillis Designs bicycles. So when we were at Salty Yarns last week, I did get some DMCs there, but I primarily focused on flosses that I wanted to get the overdyed flosses for a few different charts. And then Kathleen took me to Michael's, where she has certain discounts. I'm not really like a loyalty member anymore. I used to, and I just didn't keep it up. But she was able to get me like a really good price on the DMCs. So I got the DMCs I needed for this, except for the bicycle color. So I look at this, and that bicycle to me is more of, it's stronger than a light blue. It is more of like an electric light blue to me. Almost like an aqua. Now here, I could see people arguing that it's light blue. Well, when you actually look at the flosses that it's calling for, they were just too light blue to me. I want it to be a little bit more intense. So the colors are, DMC colors, I'll just read off, are 519, 37, 61, 3756, and you know, Sue Hillis Designs are the styles of building upon colors to create dimension and everything. So I'm still kind of new to that, and how that, you know, gets you to the final landed color. So I look at this and I'm like, I need to find that exact color. But you know, it's a build. So I have to decide if I want to, you know, try the colors as listed, or if I want to do a little color switch there. I like the basket of flowers. I love the seeds in the back. Well, there's a whole multitude of bicycles in her. It's Joy in the Journey series. Holy crow. Oops. So I am already working on this one for the summer. And newsflash, I purchased a featherweight. So a Singer Featherweight sewing machine is similar to that one. So I really think I need this chart now, even though it's kind of similar to the StitchCon bicycle that I purchased last year at StitchCon. It was a special exclusive. I kind of like that. I don't really need the winter one. No. There's fall. I just want to check this other one in here because, well, and I need to show you again the StitchCon one that I purchased. With the cute little cat, 310. Reminds me of my cat, whose name is Leo, and he's a tuxedo cat. So my cat might get a little white chest there. Let's see, are there others on here? So no, these are, now she talks about next up in the series, chef cook, it says, flower delivery, sewing. Now I think that might be, I'm not sure if that's different than the sewing machine one. Handyman, carpenter, and more. So I think I need to go check out her website and see where we're at with these bicycles, because I do love them and they're not gigantic. They had a box to buy for finishing and it's a Chantel's 141. Cute little box that has like a picket fence sort of edging on it, and all of them would fit in there if you stitch on, I think, 32 count. Now I am doing all of mine on 28 count Lugana, so mine wouldn't have fit in the box. And I kind of wanted to do something a little different. Yes, 32 count is what she calls for. So anyway, I'm having some kind of moment with these where I'm like, okay, bring on the bicycles. I'm ready to stitch all the bicycles. I'll just quickly show you my, this is Summer Treats. Oh my gosh, so cute with the seagull on the basket. So that is where I'm at with my summer one. I love this Lugana, and I believe this was really the first Lugana that I committed to doing a fairly decent sized project on. Oh gosh, we're having a bicycle avalanche over here. Ironically, I'm setting everything on the top of an older indoor portable exercise bike that is going on Marketplace. So the seat is not very big and things are going to be falling. So anyway, I love this Lugana. I am trying to remember if this is Atomic Ranch. But it's so like silky. I mean, it is Zweigart, I guess, but, and I think I've read that Lugana has rayon in it usually, so I think the rayon makes it more silky feeling, and it just really glides very nicely. So stay tuned for the bicycles and the bicycle update, because I'm having like see, now I'm getting all excited again. It was a week ago that I sort of calmed myself down, and unfortunately Salty Yarns, they have some Hillis Designs there, but they did not carry the bicycles. I don't think they had any of them, so I think I might have more luck at Keepsakes. I was also looking with Nashville Market if I was seeing more of the bicycles. I don't know if maybe I've missed the Sue Hillis releases, so I will be looking out for that. You can definitely fill me in if you know something. Okay, so I think we're jumping into haul already. And sorry for the crinkling. There's going to probably be a lot of crinkling because I haven't emptied all my bags yet. And I don't know that I will take the fabrics out of the bags. We will see how this goes. All right, so when I was at Salty Yarns, I realized every time I go there, so I will call this was our second annual trip. So I'm gonna, there you go, Kathleen. It was an annual visit, which means there will be one next year. So every time we go there, we both are reminded about these 20 count projects that this woman does, and she'll pick little elements out of a design and just do that on the 20 count, and then has a pillow made out of it, and is so adorable. So started to realize they didn't have a lot of legacy linen available, but there's cork that's 20 count, and the cork is a lot cheaper than the linen was. So this is 20 count lilac cork. Ooh. All right, I will see about trying to take things out of the bags. So unfortunately the lighting coming through the window is making everything kind of bluish looking. Hopefully you can see that that is lilac. It's reminding me, I'm looking at it and instantly thinking of raspberry ice cream, black raspberry ice cream. It's lighter. Well, it's maybe a tad lighter than typical raspberry ice cream. And now who wants raspberry ice cream? I kind of do. I was telling my mom when we were out for brunch this morning, the type of early spring day that we're having reminds me of when I was a kid. My dad would discover things to do, places to go, and he loaded up all of our bikes and we drove to a nearby park that had become popular, had these trails along an old part of the Schuylkill River that goes down to Philadelphia. And so we would ride our bikes on this trail for a little while. Now, I mean, it's so popular, but back then, not a lot of people even knew about it. But then I said to my mom, I said, and he would always make the car drive to Friendly's and afterwards, and I always got black raspberry ice cream on a cone with chocolate sprinkles. And I can still put myself right there. You know, with the way the weather is sometimes, or certain songs, or whatever it might be. This is just, I got a few little remnants. I have some of those hoops, you know, the real small hoops, and I thought, well, these would be cute for like trying to do a little 1/1 of maybe letters or flowers, little things. So this is Touch of Blue, 28 count. This is a linen. It doesn't really say the brand. This is Cashel Lilac, 28 count. Love it. It's really pretty. And Picture This Plus Earthen, 32 count. I'm going to take this one out because I want to see the modeling on this. Now, I have Earthen in Ada, and it's really been interesting to me seeing how linen dyes differently than Ada, than Lugana, but love the modeling on this. Do I stitch on 32 count linen? Of course not, but oh, I can do that. I can do that. I stitch in hand. I don't use a hoop. So sometimes that's, I feel like, easier in some cases to find the holes and things like that, but I'm sure we all, like, you know, adapt to what we're comfortable with, and that makes us, you know, practice makes us better. So this is vintage, I think it's vintage antique green Belfast, 32 count. So it's like a mint green, but it does have some modeling on it. You can kind of see there. And I love that this was like 84 cents. It's like a 3x7 piece of linen. So it's kind of just fun to, you know, see different colors and be able to get small pieces like that. I do like when shops offer that. All right, so that's all of those. Then I found some of these older Little House Needleworks charts that were already kitted up, and it's funny, they are kitted up with crescent colors. So I myself haven't been stitching long enough to have seen that, but it was kind of nice, a nice way to get some of the floss because they were out of certain colors that I need. Like bamboo is in this one, and there's a decent amount of bamboo in there. I don't know if I will actually do the chart. I like watermelon. I would not do the bird. So it's kind of hard to, oh, now I'm going to be flashing the chart too. I may have already flashed the chart. So this one is baking. And I just kind of love to think like how the borders on some of these older ones probably led to the inspiration for bringing us like the Hometown series, and you know, I mean, many charts came after this. This was designed, I think I saw a date on here. Oh, 2008. Now this one I really wanted and was looking for this, the Winter ABCs, because I loved seeing how Made by Michelle McGraw did hers. She, instead of doing the red and making it look Christmassy, she inserted a blue. And that is what I intend to do. Kathleen, Snickerdoodle Stitch, says that these stitch up very quickly. That I'll be able to complete it in about a week. Okay, well that's if I, you know, am able to stick with it. But I did finish my winter stitching around Valentine's Day. I did keep going with, I was stitching Primrose Cottage, Winter Welcome, and I did finish that. Sadly, I did not bring that down for this call or this video. I sewed it to be a pillow. It'll be a small pillow. It's got some flannel on the front, so I will show that in a future video. It still needs to be stuffed. And I also have a little pillow, another one to put in the grouping from my button-up chart, my Prairie Schooler button-up. It's a little kid who is skating. So that is also ready to be filled and stuffed and pillowized. All right, so that was day one of last weekend's shopping excursion at Salty Yarns. This is day two. Because we don't go there. For me, it's probably not quite 4 hours to get there. So it's not a place that I get to frequently. All right, so this is some more fabric. 25 count Dublin pink. It's called pink, but it is definitely a deep dark peach. And of course I had spring on the mind, Easter, so a lot of this is going to be about that. This is a Weeks linen, Weeks Dye Works linen putty, 20 count. Love this. And you know, it's interesting because like for spring, a lot of spring charts probably have green in them for leaves and things, but I'm just really drawn to this. Now I could see using this also for bees, like beehives, bee themed charts. Then we have a Weeks Dye Works blue jeans, and this is 20 count. Oh my gosh, I just love it. Now I wonder, maybe a bicycle might work on this. I'm actually thinking of the summery bicycle I'm working on right now because it's got a lot of red in it. But definitely I did get this thinking patriotic type stuff. All right, and then we have, oh, wouldn't it be fun? I just thought of this. So I love the Hometown Holidays series by Little House Needleworks. I did really get a good start on the Mercantile, and that was a decent whip in progress. That does count for this year because I was still stitching on it after New Year, I'm pretty sure. I did not bring it this time. I might have shown it in my last video. But anyway, I just thought of, wouldn't it be great if Diane of Little House Needleworks or her daughter could design a series that is a patriotic cottage or Main Street type series. I mean, she has Main Street and I'm already working on that. But that it has a patriotic flair in each scene. I think that's a necessary village that we need, if I do say so. So, okay, so this is Hickory Heatherfield, it's called, 26 count. Oh, I'm gonna get this one out of the bag because this was very interesting to me. I hope that I can get this to show up half decent. I would love your ideas on what you might use this for. So it's sort of, I would put it in the brown category. I don't think it has a little bit of a green, but I remember it in the store being more of a brown, and then look at all those colors in there. Now, I actually think that some of the Brenda Gervais charts would work with this because, sorry, the Jellybean Jubilee. You know, that natural is actually fairly dark. I'm not sure what the called for is. I can't find it real fast. I mean, the little guy with his paintbrush would probably work well on there. So I think sometimes, like, you know, you look at a big piece all together and you're like, oh, like what's going to work on that? But if you're working on something very small, it is more about the design, and the fabric is just, it's just the canvas. But that might work on there. I probably would do more of a, I don't know, like a peach colored bunny or something like that on it. So interesting fabric. Okay, a little bit more. I'm trying to just grab it more. So I'll stick with the fabric for now. Weeks Aztec Red Gingham. This is only, it's like 3.5 inches by 12 inches. It's 28 count. So it's kind of a weird, but again, thinking maybe doing 1/1, something patriotic. And this is cork 20 count apricot. So it's a lighter peach. It's a little bit, it's darker than what it's showing on camera. That to me is looking very ivory, but it's definitely more peach. And then we have cork in rue green. I think that says, unless it says roe green, 20 count. Love that. Kind of little sea foamish. Cork in cream, 20 count. Just for kicks, I'm going to hold up. This is the apricot, and this is the cream. That might help a little bit. All right, and then some charts that I purchased. I really want to do these Told in a Gardens, and they were only $5. So I went ahead. I hadn't seen this quilting. The quilting. And this is definitely not that you see this exact type of thing in Lancaster County, but this type of activity is still being done. I think it's being done actually more for the purpose of charity. I know that there are Amish and Mennonite quilters that will do this sort of thing to actually help out local fire companies. Where I used to live in Honeybrook, the Honeybrook Fire Company was just a block away from me, and it was a melting pot of Amish, Mennonite, and plain English, or English American volunteers. And the Amish would do a lot to make quilts to help the fire company. They would have mud sales, things like that. I probably would not do the quilts. I don't really care for them. I like the big one. I would maybe just do the quilters. And oh my gosh, that little girl, which that is something that you see. You see the little girls with their little scarves over their heads in the winter time. And the little boys with their hats on and everything. Love them to death. And the little suspenders. They always, usually the boys have matching colored shirts on. So everybody's wearing the same colored shirt that particular day and whatever. It's very adorable. This is Farmer's Market. And I do love the whole thing as it is. I was going to say I would maybe not do the whole thing and just do certain pieces of it. So, not sure. I have the Strawberries Forever, I believe it is, and blueberries, and there's raspberries. I have all three of those. I fell in love with the whole thing when I first saw Brenda and the Cereal Starter show her finishes for the, I primarily loved, I think it's the blueberries she showed as a drum, and that's what hooked me, and I primarily want to do drums for them. Okay, and then I saw this one. This is an Abby Rose Designs Let Freedom Ring. I just love that. I love that house. I think it's a bit different that it's not red. Again, with the bird, I don't understand the whole blackbird or crows in the cross-stitch world, so I don't know if I'm missing something that it comes from tradition, or it's just a primitive type of thing to add. I don't care for them, so I won't be adding that. But so love that. And okay, picked that up as well. Joy of Living. Again, I was still in my little doldrums of work, loveliness, and this struck me. You know, constantly trying to strike balance with being responsible and having my employment, but also enjoying my non-employment time of my life. So I think that will be very nice to do. And it's pretty small, I believe. Oh, so it is 10.5 inches by 4 inches on 32 count. So it's longer than I really thought it would be. Okay, so next I have some thrift store haul to show. I found the most awesome new thrift store to me. You know, it's interesting. We get into, I won't say a rut, but you get into a routine as to your common places where you go. And, you know, sometimes maybe you don't go one direction as much because you think, oh, there's not that much up that way. Well, I purposely started searching for thrift stores in this one area that I go to mostly for restaurants that we go to. Well, I found the best thrift store, and they were closing that day, so I need to get back because I didn't even get through the whole store. But this was a find a few weeks ago. And I do, you know, because I do a lot of smalls in series, I need things where I would be displaying them together. So that is a possibility. Or this could be maybe like related, you know, everything's related to spring or something like that. So I would paint this. I would probably spray paint it. Now you can hang it. It does have the hangers to hang it. I would maybe put it in an easel. So, and then I had to rescue this. This was $12. It's in this glass frame. And since I like quilting, it sort of also reminds me that house reminds me of something I saw in the Cotswolds in England, near a tea house where we had high tea one day. So I decided to bring this one home. So I would probably keep it in this frame. It needs a little help because it wants to pop out of this. But I would spray paint the frame. I'm not really an oak person, so and then it is nice that it keeps it, I guess, behind the glass. It sort of seems like it might be I don't know if it's museum glass, but it's like maybe less reflective. I don't know. I've not really had to frame anything yet for stitching, so what I know about framing is what I see on other people's floss tubes. I wanted to show some other thrift store finds. This ties into my current obsession with my featherweight find. So I might do a special video about that. If you've watched me before, you've seen that I talk about that I've taken Pennsylvania Dutch language lessons recently, and I do have some Pennsylvania Dutch like fractor cross-stitch patterns that I've purchased. the Pennsylvania Dutch colors are often involving primary colors and all of like an intense, even hue of primary colors. I loved this when I saw this. Now, when I first saw this in an antique shop, can I even get this off now? It has like pearl cottons in it. And so they were displaying it like this, so I didn't even see the lid. Well then, and I liked the color of the tin. When I saw the lid, I was like, okay. Many years ago, I would be scoffing at this and be like, and in taking our classes, we've learned how commercialism really did sort of take over and skew truth about the Dutch, the Pennsylvania Dutch. So I don't know that I've ever seen an Amish couple hold hands like in public. I'm sure they hold hands privately. But my whole point being that this gives me an idea of how to incorporate colors that I like into some of these Pennsylvania Dutch cross-stitch things that I'll be working on. So the one chart that I have of a distal fink, I haven't really gotten too far with it, so I didn't start the blue, and I've started the red, and I might try to work in an aqua color. I might try to work in some pink as well. I don't have the bag in here, the project bag that I made, where the fabric also, it's got a very folk style to it. Like, I feel like some of it has the tulip pattern in it, and it also uses some of these colors, and I really like it, but it also has red in there. So it's just a nice different way to show that heritage style, that folk style, but maybe a little bit more modernized and to my liking. And then just a few other finds. Found this cute pin cushion. I don't know how old it is. Oh. This says Wax Museum, Washington, D.C. Does it say Washington, D.C.? I'm assuming that says Washington, D.C. Maybe it just says Washington. That cracks me up. So somebody must have just stuck that, maybe just stuck that tomato in there. I kind of like it that it's a green tomato. And then when I see tomatoes, I have been starting to pick these up. Saw this strawberry somebody made. And that's the end of that. Now, one last thing to bring up is that in about a month ago, it was like February 2nd, I went to the Daniel Boone homestead in Berks County, and you may or may not know of the truth and folklore about Daniel Boone. Daniel Boone was, I guess, known for his part in being a frontiersman and pioneer. So it's interesting to me. I've been doing some research of certain aspects of our local history here, and that really not too far from where I live at one point in time was the edge of the frontier for Pennsylvania and for this area. So they hadn't yet settled in, you know, the Pittsburgh area and stuff like that. So there were forts set up by the government because of clashes with the savages, as they were, you know, sometimes known at that point, but with Native American tribes. And there were definitely treaties and things made where definitely the different tribes were very friendly and there were good relations throughout different years, but then at times, definitely along like the frontier at that time, there was known clashes, I'll just call them. So the Daniel Boone stories are sort of about when his family left this area, and they actually, part of the family moved to North Carolina. I think he eventually went to Kentucky or something like that and was on the frontier of that area. So anyway, I went there because there is a sewing circle that they promote, and I had never gone there. I thought, okay, let me give this a try. Let's see if there's, you know, maybe new people that I can meet. Definitely a very nice group of women. They know each other very well throughout the years from other quilt groups that they're in together. But they had a like book swap or sharing that day. So I picked up a few books, and I thought I would just quickly show those. This is one that I grabbed. So they were just free and they were going to get rid of them anyway. So I thought, well, I might as well, you know, take a few things and see if I like anything. This book, the designs in it are not quite my style. This is the Daniel Boone Homestead. And it's a really neat, the last time I was there, I was a kid, and now there's like a lot of like walking paths and trails. I think this is all pretty much privately. Oh, it's on the Pennsylvania Trails of History.com site. It does say it's part of the Pennsylvania Historical and Museum Commission. I was thinking that it's privately cared for now, but anyway, I picked up this book. I don't really like many of the designs in it. It's just not my thing. But in the front here, there's the history of cross-stitch and some ideas about basic stitches, and then techniques in finishing. So I might just give it a little bit more of a perusal, but I am already setting things aside to take to some of the retreats that I have, where there will be a freebie table and sharing table. So someone else might find some things in here more to their liking. Like this kind of caught my eye. I would like to do an alphabet sampler at some point. This is called a Swiss alphabet sampler. It says samplers worked in a single color were particularly popular in Europe in the 19th century, so in the 1800s. I did not know that. All right, so that was one book. And I have just a few others here. The Embroiderer's Story. I did not look through this yet, so I will just be giving that a glance. And Frontier Sites. So I will probably take a quick look at that. This caught my eye, so I will be looking at that. Birds and Blooms. I like finding this magazine on the cheap. Just always, I don't know, some birds are just very pretty to me, and we do feed our birds here during the winter, and I just love hearing them chirp and everything, it's very calming. And then we've been hearing the robins sing a lot more, and you just know that spring is coming, which always makes me very happy. I picked up this. Here's your primary colors I'm talking about, and there's usually always black in there. So it does go back to, I think there's a lot of like, you know, Polish and German folk art that incorporates these colors. In fact, I have some Ukrainian cross-stitch designs that I would like to be stitching. They're for like eggs, or they're an Easter type of design, and to do some solidarity stitching for what is happening there and getting worse again. And one of the cross stitchers I follow who's been living in Ukraine throughout this whole thing, she had moved to a safer area, and now she's in a town that's getting shelled. And I follow her on Instagram, and so she's been, you know, now she's in the bad parts of it again. So I will see if I can put her Instagram handle in my description. Please consider supporting the Ukrainian cross stitchers that are out there. She sells her designs on Etsy, and she also has some items set up that are donations, so you can be directly supporting her, and she shares with other families in Ukraine, you know, just for groceries, and because some of them are just, their incomes are totally impacted. This I had to show to somebody at that Daniel Boone Homestead sewing circle, so because there's information in here that is about Sarah Boone, who was an instructress, as they would say, who is in that family. So that is really all that I have today. I am at a whole hour. Yeah, I did pick up my new Featherweight sewing machine. It is a 221, and it is from 1941. So I'm really excited about that. And I did finally plug it in. I had it for about a week, and then finally plugged it in to see if it did actually have power to it and that it would work, and it did work. The belt needs to be replaced. It's a bit worn, and I am taking a featherweight class, maintenance class, at the Lancaster Lebanon Quilt Expo that is scheduled for later in April. I think it's the weekend of like April 12th or something. So there is a featherweight, she's called the Machine Lady, I think, and she comes and you bring your featherweight to class, and then she teaches you key ways that you need to put lubricant in it at different places, how to change the belt, how to adjust different things, because it is an old machine, and I'm excited that mine is from the war era. I don't really know who it came from exactly. The man I purchased it from, he said his wife had it and she bought it through friends, quilting friends of theirs in Maine, when they would go up there, go camping, and she had quilting groups that she was involved in. So I have a feeling it's been passed around a few times, but it really looks good. The decals on it are in very good shape. Sometimes the gold decals on those machines get a little bit of wear to them, but this one looks pretty good. I really had wanted, if you know anything about the featherweight craze right now, and in recent years, I really wanted a white one, just because I like that more as a color, and it seemed a little bit more modern to me. Then there's also ones that you can buy that are painted specialty colors, that they actually refurbish them with using automotive paint. And I really loved certain colors that I was seeing out there. But that was quite a bit more of an investment, and not quite what I was ready to do. I do love my modern Janome machines, and so I'm a little bit nervous about, you know, using this machine, but I have two friends that use theirs for piecing and that they really like them for that purpose. So I'm excited to get started with it. It's my thought that I love the idea of, in the warm weather, like when I've been cooped up all day working, I work from home, being able to go outside and have my machine outside with me. And the featherweights are very petite. It's literally like about this big. And so I picture myself being able to very quickly take my little setup out on the porch and be able to get a lot of piecing done in an evening, just for, you know, something different to do. So that is the plan, and it's very exciting. So I wish you lots of great stitching ahead, whatever you're working on for spring or Easter or whatever moves your stitchy soul. So take care, and I hope you liked this video. If you did, I encourage you to like the video, subscribe, and I really appreciate it. So next time we'll see what my count is up to for my 55, my double nickel year. And also I'll be talking a little bit more about the retreats that I'm doing this year. So I will see you soon. Happy stitching.